Okay then, let's talk balance. And I don't mean the one in your bank account. What I mean is balance on our motorbikes, particularly when we're off-roading. I hear so often people say, oh, I could never ride a bike like that. It's too tall for me. It's too heavy for me. I can't get my leg over, you know, all these kind of things, all these, not excuses, because it's a genuine fear that people have. But all too often I hear people saying things like that. Oh, I really wanted that T7. I really wanted that Africa Twin. I really wanted that whatever. But I can't reach the floor. I can't get my leg over it. You know, I'm like this all the time, you know, like, oh, where's my floor? You know, and all these kind of things. So what I'd like to try and do is I'd like to just do a very short video on a couple of little drills that you can do to help you try and gain a little bit of confidence with a bike, whether it be a smaller bike, a bigger bike or whatever. Just something that helped me along the lines when I was sort of learning and starting out, and still now. Every time I get a new bike, I do a lot of these drills to try and sort of figure out where my balance points are on the bikes, get more confident with the feeling of it, and sort of knowing where those limitations of it are, if that kind of makes sense. So one of the first things that people seem to have an issue with, in particular with a taller bike, is when they're parked on a bit of unsteady ground or something like that. So I've parked the bike on a bit of an angle, so the ground slopes away that way, so 243 kilo-ish, and the bike is leaning towards its side stand. And a lot of people struggle with either getting on and off because they feel like the bike's going to tip over, or lifting the bike up to its centre because it's leaning over a little bit more than it normally would, and they tend to struggle with it. So two things that we can do in order to try and combat that. So number one is getting on from the wrong side, i.e. from the non-side stand side of the bike. This is something which I learned to do a long time ago, and it is so useful, and it can help when the bike's on a slight angle, or if you're just struggling in general, particularly when you've got top boxes and things like that on. It's so much easier to get on from the wrong side of the bike. So the way we're going to do that, particularly if the bike is leaning slightly, we're going to make sure the bike's in gear for a start and that it's down on the stand nice and firmly. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to lean over, I'm going to cover that front brake, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to lean into the bike. So I'm going to lean over its centre of gravity. So I'm going to lean into the bike, over that tank, and I'm going to lift myself up. Once I'm in that position there, look, I'm nice and stable. The bike's not going anywhere, and I can easily now either swing my leg over my box, or I can bring my leg through and over my seat. And doing that is so much easier than trying to get on from the correct side of the bike. Now the next thing is, what about if I can't touch the ground? So at the minute here, look, even me with my 38-inch inside or 36 inside leg, whatever it is, I'm sat on the bike's on a slight angle, I can't actually touch the ground. It's dead simple. Don't overthink it, okay? Don't overthink it. Shift that arse cheek so it's hanging off the side of your seat. And now look, I can touch the ground with minimal effort. And my leg on the other side is still firmly planted on my foot peg. So I'm still in control of that bike. Even if I lift the bike up, obviously it's a little bit easier for me because I'm taller, but even if I lift the bike up, take it off its stand, I'm still in full control and my foot is firmly planted on the floor. So don't be afraid of it, give it a go. The next thing then is getting the bike up off its side stand if it's on a little bit of a slope, or if it's just a heavier bike. So if you're of smaller stature or you've not got a mass amount of upper body strength, I'm not the strongest person in the world, but something that can really help is using the bike itself and the weight of the bike itself. So at the minute, even now, if I was to try and lift this up, I'd have to give the bike a bit of a rock and pull it into that position. However, there's an easier way of doing it. Simply turn the bars in the opposite direction from your centre stand, so the bars are pointing away, and now when you lift the bike up, the bike will naturally want to move in that direction, and it will help you lift the bike up off its centre stand. The last little drill that I'm going to sort of show you and suggest that you try and have a go at, you know, these are all static drills, so these are all things that you can practice when you're static, you're in the comfort of your, you know, you can do it in your garden or on a bit of grass somewhere, so you're not afraid of dropping it, in your garage, wherever you want, okay? These are all static drills which just help you try and gain a little bit of confidence with your bike. So the last little drill then that I'd like you to have a go at is finding that balance point of your bike, making the bike weightless and being able to walk around the bike. And what I mean by this is lift the bike up off the side stand, okay? Again, if you're struggling to do it like that, you can always pull your front bars round and it'll give you that little bit of extra lift. It's a little bit unwieldy, but it'll help you if you need to. But get your bike onto its off the side stand. And again, I'm doing it on this little bit of a slope because you should realistically be able to do this anywhere. And what you want to do is, again, making sure the bike's in gear so it's not going to roll away from you, is find that balance point of the bike. Find out where it's happiest, where it sits in that middle. And when the bike's on that centre part and it's on that balance point, it should be relatively weightless. And you should be able to now control the bike when it gets there, when you find it, using very, very minimal input. So there, look, holding it on the edge of the, on the end of the bars very lightly. Centre of the rack. Centre of the rack there, look. End of the mirror. There you go, look. One finger on the tank. Okay. And what I should be able to do as I get more confident at doing this is I should be able to start walking around the bike. So let's try it. Again, this is only the second time I've done it with this bike, but it's something that I do with all bikes that I buy, just to try and learn where those balance points are. And you can figure out as well whether the bike's top heavy, whether it's bottom end or what. You know, a really top heavy bike with all its weight up here will tend to tip one way or the other a lot quicker than a bike where it's all lower down. This one tends to sit quite low down, which is quite nice. But now, see if I can move around the bike a little bit. So we've got a mirror. Let's go camera mount. Look at that, look, very small inputs. Okay, I should even be able to hold it on the screen. We all know how flimsy the screens are. That look. Okay, now I'm going to start moving around the bike. And this is something that you can try. And obviously, if you get to a point where you feel like you're going to drop it, then make sure you push it over towards its centre stand. Side stand, sorry. Okay. End of the brake lever, yeah, end of the lever. Yeah. Tank again. Yeah. Hey, there we go, look. Like I say, it's all about finding that balance point. And it will just make life so much easier, especially when you start doing things like trying to move the bike around, picking it up from your garage and stuff like that. It just makes life so much easier. Don't be afraid of it. Give it a go. Try those few things out. Let us know down below in the comments what you think and if it helped you. If you want to see more, I'll go into it in a little bit more detail and we'll do some more on some sort of like actual moving drills and running drills. But yeah, try them out, let me know.